Life comes at you fast. One minute you are minding your own business, and the next, you are staring into the abyss. He got married to a classmate. If it was anyone else, he might have just rolled with the punches. But fate decided to wake up and choose violence. It had to be her. The one girl in the entire school he considers his natural enemy. He is already calculating the divorce settlement in his head. Check the scoreboard. The semester rankings are up, and Saito Hojo is sitting pretty at rank 1, completely gapping the competition. The crowd goes wild, but my man walks past without even glancing at the board. He knows he cooked. That is some serious main character energy. He is 18, loves video games and protein, and thinks checking grades is a total waste of time when he could be reading. He is just trying to have a peaceful morning, maybe optimize his calorie intake. But peace was never an option. He hears footsteps thundering down the hall like a freight train. He spots a blur of motion coming straight for him. He analyzes the cadence. He knows that run anywhere. It is the sound of impending doom. She locks onto him with a death glare that could send a lesser man straight to the lobby. Before he can even process the threat, she closes the distance. She snatches him up by the tie with perfect form. Zero hesitation. He realizes his neck is now property of the state. It is Akane Sakuramori, the eternal runner-up. She is absolutely furious that he took first place again. He claims he just memorized everything during class without studying, which honestly just makes her want to strangle him more. He is practically begging to be deleted. He admits she is gorgeous, like model tier pretty, but her personality is a nightmare. He calculates a tactical retreat out the window, but she shuts that down instantly. She pins him to the desk. Nowhere to run. The walls are closing in. Meet the hottest yet scariest girl in school. She starts grilling him about the class journal, complaining that he left the opinion section blank. He argues that since nothing happened, there was nothing to write. Logic, right? She is not having it. She looks like she is about to turn him into ketchup. He calls the whole thing a drag. He just wants to eat his noodles in peace. She slams the desk, screaming that she is trying to fix his bad behavior. He just wants to be left alone. The chemistry is toxic, radioactive even. This is not a one-time thing. It is a montage of suffering, choir practice, cleaning duty, reading manga. She is always on his case. With this level of constant nagging, he feels fully justified in finding her annoying. He is living in a survival horror game. Their friend Himari steps in to referee, asking the real question: why are they always fighting? Akane admits she has not thought about it, but seeing his face just makes her want to slap him with a slipper. That is a violation, a personal foul. Saito vents to Shisei, claiming he is the victim here, but Shisei drops a truth bomb. She suggests that maybe Akane keeps picking fights because she is actually interested in him. Akane hears this and absolutely freezes. Her brain just blue-screened. That triggers an immediate synchronized meltdown. They both scream at the top of their lungs that they would not date the other even if they were the last person on Earth. The lady doth protest too much. We all know where this is going. Saito finally clocks out, ready to enjoy the sweet sound of silence. He is already mentally checking out, planning his evening of doing absolutely nothing, but the universe has other plans. His phone blows up. It is Grandpa Graham, demanding he come over for a casual cup of tea. Saito hits him with a hard pass. He thinks, "I am not dealing with this drama today," and claims he has a book to read. Graham does not take rejection well. He casually reminds the boy that the entire multi-billion-dollar inheritance depends on his mood. You know, just normal family blackmail. Saito tries to laugh it off with some sarcasm, calling the old man immortal, but the tone shifts instantly. The air gets heavy. Graham drops the nice guy act. He asks if Saito really wants to find out what happens when he disobeys. A luxury limo drifts around the corner, tires screeching like it is an action movie. Two suits jump out armed with nunchucks. Yes, actual nunchucks. Saito sees the attack coming, but his body is too slow. Before he can even shift his weight to dodge, they snatch him off the street. Once he is safely secured in the leather seats, the staff starts the damage control. They apologize for the light kidnapping, claiming the chairman just loves him too much. Talk about a toxic relationship. Saito sits there, sweating. He realizes his grandfather clearly has too much time on his hands. But you cannot argue with the man's resume. Meet Tenryu Hojo. During the Great Recession, he did not panic. He cleaned house. He fired the old guard, restructured the game, and turned a bankrupt mess into an IT empire. The man is a certified savage. Saito pulls up to the fancy restaurant, but the trap is already sprung. Akane is standing there, vibrating with pure rage. She looks at him like he is a bug on her windshield. Great. It is the crossover episode nobody asked for. They take a seat, and the air gets heavy enough to crush a soda can. Akane leans in, eyes twitching. She decides right then and there to become his personal sleep paralysis demon until he apologizes. She is sticking to him like gum on a shoe. A convertible screeches to a halt outside. Graham and Grandma Chio hop out, grinning like they just won the lottery. They wave the kids over, practically skipping. Come on, Chop Chop, the plot is not going to move itself. Inside the private room, the elders raise their glasses for a cheerful toast. Saito and Akane lift their cups, but their souls have already left their bodies. They look less like dinner guests and more like prisoners on death row. Saito glances at the door, blocked. Guards with polearms are standing there like statues. He sighs and tells Akane she is ruining the vibe. She smiles sweetly and offers to help him delete his existence from the server. Such chemistry. Graham laughs, waving off the threats, but Saito is done playing games. He demands to know the setup. Graham stops laughing. The room goes cold. He looks them dead in the eye and drops the tactical nuke. You two are getting married. Silence. Absolute brain rot. Saito and Akane stare at the dead fish on their plates. At this exact moment, that sashimi has more freedom than they do. Saito tries to panic, shouting about laws. Grandma Chio shuts him down instantly. 18 is legal. Deal with it. Graham snaps a fan open like a dramatic anime villain. Time for the lore drop. He and Chio were lovers back in the day, but they fumbled the bag. Since they failed at romance, they decided to force their unfulfilled dreams onto their grandkids. Classic boomer logic. Chio leans in, weaponizing a gentle grandmotherly smile to guilt-trip Akane into submission. Akane snaps. She slams the table, screaming that marriage is about love, not a corporate merger. Saito nods aggressively, citing the Constitution. But the elders just start laughing. It is that creepy, villainous chuckle that signals the end of the world. Graham claps his hands, bring in the backup air. A servant walks in holding a stray dog. Graham points at the confused puppy and drops the ultimatum. If Saito refuses the marriage, the entire family fortune goes to the dog. Saito tries to use logic again. Dogs cannot sign contracts. Graham crushes his pendant in his bare hand, eyes glowing with madness. He screams that he will use a paw print if he has to. This man is ready to burn his legacy to the ground just to win an argument. Graham leans over the table, radiating pure menace. He claims only a madman can run an empire, and he is the king of them all. Meanwhile, Chio corners Akane, whispering in her ear to stop fighting and just take the win. Graham holds up 3 fingers. They have 3 days to decide. Akane screams that she will never marry this guy, but Saito looks at the ceiling. He does the math. His hellish life has officially begun. We are kicking things off with zero chill. Akane is already in full wifey mode, hitting him with the come here husband trap card. Before he can even process the culture, she drags him straight into the cuddle zone. But bro is absolutely not having it. He screams for his life, demanding to know why he is suddenly locked into a marriage contract while she practically crushes his ribs into powder. Turns out, that was not a dream, it is his trauma. He wakes up in a cold sweat knowing exactly who to blame. The big boss, Tenryu, dropped a nuclear ultimatum. Get married in 3 days, or the entire company gets deleted when I get game ended. He throws on his suit, shivering at the mere thought of the consequences. He is desperate to inherit the family empire, but the price tag is absolutely insane. The arranged partner is the one person on this green earth he cannot stand. Because in his mind, Sakuramori Akane is not a waifu. She is a level 100 demon lord. He runs the simulations in his head and realizes it will just be decades of domestic warfare. His nerves fry just thinking about the misery, so he screams his final answer. There is no way in hell that wedding is happening. The next morning, our boy drags his sorry carcass to school, looking like he went 12 rounds with a truck. His strategy? Simple. Activate NPC mode. He just wants to blend into the background textures and pretend that whole engagement nightmare was just a glitch in the matrix. He attempts to initiate a standard social interaction with a classmate, sweating bullets. He is not just saying hello, he is fighting for his life here, trying to prove his sanity has not completely left the chat. But you know how this goes. His sister Shi spawns in right behind him, equipping the legendary Death Stare ability. She locks onto him instantly, calling him out for acting super sus since yesterday. The pressure in the room just spiked to critical levels. Panic button smashed. He hits her with a classic deflection, telling her she is imagining things. Then, he executes a tactical retreat, sprinting away before the interrogation turns into a full-blown boss battle. Smooth. Real smooth. The school bell rings, but the real pressure is over at the pamphlet rack. Akane is staring down a scholarship brochure like it is a raid boss with 10 million HP. She is calculating the cost of living versus her pride. That heavy sigh says it all. Money is tight and the economy is not helping. Hojo spots her and tries to initiate a cutscene, stepping into her path with zero hesitation. But Akane? She does not even blink. She walks right past him, treating him like low-resolution background texture that has not finished rendering yet. He does not quit. He chases her down and drops the bomb, asking about the intel from her grandmother. That stops her dead in her tracks. Her shoulders tense up and her pupils dilate. Panic mode engaged. She realizes he knows way too much about her skill tree. She snaps back, shutting him down loud enough for the NPCs in the hallway to start whispering. You can feel the social credit score dropping. She is making a scene just to deflect the question. Hojo holds his frame like a tank main. He insists this is his business because if they do not figure out the enemy's strategy, they are both getting sent to the lobby. He is not trying to be a hero, he is just trying to avoid the game over screen. She is not listening to logic. She crosses her arms to boost her defense stats and glares daggers at him. Then she drops the ultimate drama queen line, "Don't even try to understand my heart." Oh boy, we are getting deep into the angst arc now. Then she tactical sprints down the stairs to escape the conversation before he can reply. Hojo turns away, realizing that cooperating with this girl is going to be a nightmare difficulty quest. He might need a walkthrough guide for this one. Day 2 rolls in, and Hojo is sweating bullets like he is defusing a bomb. He is scribbling furiously in his notebook, mapping out a 4-dimensional chess move to dodge the arranged marriage and hostile takeover the family business. But his spidey senses start tingling. He feels a predator in the room. His cousin Chase is staring right through his soul with absolutely zero chill. He calculates the odds. If he drags her into this mess, it is an instant game over, so he decides to activate the ultimate defense mechanism, playing dumb. While the NPCs are outside enjoying their youth and touching grass, Hojo is stuck in the classroom running on fumes. The man looks like he has not slept in a week. He is frantically tearing the place apart, scrambling to find his lost loot. He finally secures the phone, but then the realization hits him like a truck. He ghosted Akane yesterday because he was too busy on the grind. That is not just a mistake, that is a massive flag waving him straight toward the lobby. Speak of the devil, she spawns right in the doorway. His fight-or-flight response glitches out completely, so he dives under the desk like a pro camper. But in the chaos of his tactical retreat, his hand lands on something suspiciously soft. Surprise! The camping spot is occupied. Shize is just chilling there with a full puppet show setup because of course she is. She asks if he wants to play, but he is frantically throwing up hand signs telling her to zip it. She decides to help him out by yeeting a stuffed bear across the room at Mach 10. While the rest of the class is trying to process the physics of the flying projectile, she activates stealth mode and vanishes into the shadows. Akane tries to keep her poker face, but the sweat gives her away. She asks a totally hypothetical question about forced marriage, hoping they do not smell the desperation. Himari laughs off the ancient custom like it is a bad joke from the 1950s. She admits she would refuse anyway, mostly because she is already simping for a mystery crush. Then Himari flips the script. She suggests Akane should just get hitched to split the rent. That is a pure capitalist mindset right there. Akane mutters that her situation is actually serious, but she is speaking in lowercase, so the warning flies right over Himari's head. The pressure finally breaks her brain. She screams that she loves spicy culture, absolutely shocking the spies listening at the door. While Hojo runs for his life in the background to avoid getting sent to the lobby, Himari drops a logic bomb. She claims marriage means making at least 100 babies. Akane envisions the diaper budget and instantly panics. The girls smell ketchup in the water. They roast her until she cracks, insisting this is all just a theory. Himari pulls out the ultimate weapon, a magazine full of nighttime techniques designed to steal a man's heart. Akane rejects the fan service. She screams she will never marry and sprints down the hall at Mach 10. Back in the hallway, Shisa's big sister radar pings off the charts. She scans his face like a barcode reader, locking onto the stress wrinkles digging into his forehead. He tries to buffer like a browser on dial-up, but she corners him, applying pressure until he cracks. He admits Gramps just dropped a tactical nuke on his future. The ultimatum is absolute trash. Option A, submit to the old man's orders until he expires. Option B, get replaced by some corporate-trained poodle who barks on command. She tells him to pick a lane, but he swerves right into the greedy option. He wants the throne, and he wants his freedom. Shees looks at him like he just asked for a unicorn, nearly slapping the audacity right out of his mouth. She slides the door open and drops some aquarium wisdom. True freedom is a myth when you are just a goldfish swimming in a corporate tank. Instead of fighting the current and drowning, she tells him to flip the script. Do not break the rules, weaponize them against the system. Then comes the ride or die declaration. Even if he ends up dumpster diving for dinner, she is never unsubscribing from his channel. That is loyalty you cannot buy. She knows he needs the family war chest to fund his dream, so she basically signs the permission slip for his villain arc. Bro locks in the sister buff for plus 10 morale. Now he just has to pray Sakuramori does not reject the offer, or this whole plan goes up in smoke. This random girl tries to slide Akane a magazine about quote-unquote night sports techniques. Yeah, that kind of culture. Akane's face turns into a tomato instantly. She processes the cover art, realizes what she is holding, and her brain completely short-circuits. She screams that she is never getting married and hits Mach 10 down the hallway, leaving a dust cloud behind her. Meanwhile, our boy is hiding in the classroom, calculating the blast radius. He thinks, if I step out there now, I am getting dragged into a rom-com misunderstanding I cannot win. He stays put, praying the fan service crossfire misses him. Later, Shisei corners her brother like a detective who just found the murder weapon. She narrows her eyes, scanning his face for a glitch. She knows he has been acting sus for 48 hours straight. He tries to play it cool, shifting his weight and looking away, but his poker face is crumbling. She points a finger right at the stress wrinkle on his forehead and says, "That thing was not there yesterday. You cannot lie to her." He realizes he is checkmated. He sighs, finally cracking under the pressure, and admits the old man is forcing a brutal choice on him. Here's the deal. Either he submits to Grandpa's absolute control, or he watches the family empire get handed to some unreliable amateur who will probably burn it down in a week. Shisei leans in and asks the million-dollar question, is it going to be your freedom or the throne? He looks her dead in the eye, pauses for dramatic effect, and says he wants both. Talk about main character syndrome. Shisei immediately calls him out for being greedy, but you can tell she respects the hustle. Time for a philosophy lesson. She compares their situation to fish stuck in a tank. You cannot escape the glass walls or the rules of nature, so you have to learn to exploit the system from the inside. It is survival of the fittest, and she is not planning to be fish food. She swears she will stick by him even if they lose everything and end up eating dinner out of garbage cans. Which, let's be real, is a level of ride or die I did not expect from someone wearing designer clothes. She knows the path to the top is paved with thorns, but she is ready to take the damage right alongside him. He looks at her, genuinely surprised, and thanks her for the backup. But deep down, he knows the clock is ticking. He runs the calculations in his head. If he hesitates, he loses the crown. If he acts too fast, he loses his freedom. He tightens his fist, deciding to make a move that is about to flip the entire board. Day 3 hits like a truck. The teacher drops the career preference survey on the desks with a thud that echoes in the silence. It is basically a contract asking everyone to sign their souls away before they even get to eat lunch. While the normies are losing their minds over grades, he is locked in a high-stakes mental cage match. It is the dream versus freedom. He runs the numbers and realizes the math does not add up. He cannot have both, and the indecision is eating him alive. They step outside to find a sleek black limousine waiting at the curb like a predator. Nothing says ominous plot twist quite like a chauffeur opening a door in agonizing slow motion. The air gets heavy, and you just know trouble is sitting in the back seat. He scans the perimeter, analyzing the setup to predict who the system is targeting today. But look at her. She is spiraling out of control. Her knuckles are white as she grips that survey form like a lifeline. She is terrified that one wrong breath sends them both straight to the lobby. They step into the Tenryu estate, and the vibe instantly shifts from an awkward visit to a final boss encounter. Graham does not offer tea. He points that baton like a weapon and demands they pick a lane. The path of the fool or the wise. Akane and the main character freeze up. You can practically hear their internal servers crashing under the pressure, but they do not fold. Instead, they drop the nuclear payload. Marriage, game, set, match. The main character tries to process this madness, asking if she is actually serious about tying the knot. She panics, claims it is forced, and then hits the classic anime trope. She screams that she definitely, absolutely does not like him. Sure, keep telling yourself that. The room explodes with cheers. Grandma is weeping tears of joy, and Graham is fist pumping like he just won the lottery. The main character tries to negotiate a ceasefire, suggesting they wait until after college to make it official. Graham shuts that logic down instantly. No waiting. They are doing the ceremony right here, right now. No escape. Graham doesn't waste a single frame, teleporting the entire squad straight to the front lawn of a brand new 2-story fortress. The kids are absolutely floored, staring at the place like they just witnessed a glitch in the Matrix. We are talking a luxury double carport and a flower garden that definitely costs more than my entire life savings. Graham leans in, looking way too smug about the situation, and delivers the final crushing blow. He calls it a love nest built specifically for them. Grandma is beaming like a lighthouse, but the kids are getting absolutely deleted by the cringe. Akane starts spiraling. She realizes they skipped the dating sim tutorial and went straight to the married life DLC. She activates defense mode, getting right in his face and swearing to send him to the lobby if he tries any late night culture. But he is not even listening. He confirms the paperwork is done, and his soul promptly disconnects from the server.